When April, with sweet showers, has ended the drought of March, and bathed every root in the sap of which the flower is born, when Zephyr, with sweet breath, has started the tender crops in heath and holt, and the young sun has run half his month, and little birds, stirred by spring, sing half the night, then people long to go on pilgrimages, seek strange shores and distant shrines in many lands. And especially in every shire of England, they wend to Canterbury to seek the blessed martyr who has helped them in sorrow and sickness. It fell upon the time of day, when I lay at the tabard in Southwark, ready to make the pilgrimage to Canterbury, that there came by night to the inn a company of pilgrims. After supper, when we had paid our bills, our host, an honest of Burgess as any in Cheapside, and a very jolly fellow, said to us all, "I should like to entertain you if I can. I've just thought of a bit of fun which may amuse you all, and will cost you nothing. The point is this, good masters," said he, "that to shorten the way each of you shall tell 2 tales, one on the road to Canterbury and the other coming home. And whichever of you prove the best man, that is to say he who tells the best tale, shall have the supper at the cost of all the rest in this very inn where you now sit, when we are all returned from Canterbury." The thing we agree gladly. And now before I go on with my tale, I think it would be well to tell you something about each of them, who they were, of what degree, and how they were arrayed.
I'm Jim Saxon. I was in Old Kent Road in business for 58 years, starting in 1924. The shop was a gramophone record shop selling gramophone records, accessories like needles and the sound boxes. Horn gramophones were very, very popular, as were cabinet gramophones at the time, such as this one. A 4-spring cabinet gramophone which sold for about £19. The Rolls Royce of the gramophone trade, it was, indeed. Please don't compare the sound of this with the sound of modern hi-fi, but for all that, it was excellent.
But with the same shape and size as a sovereign, and he had his own head on one side, and on the reverse he had the trademark, which was the 4 cherubs sailing a top hat in the sea with the words Carter's noted hats, light and waterproof, around the edge. And he used to take handfuls of these and throw them from trams and buses going along the Old Kent Road, and people used to rush to pick them up thinking they may be sovereigns, and therefore got his name across to the local people. Well, there was a top hat, a large top hat in front of the building, just above the fascia, as it were, and at 1 o'clock every day this top hat used to rise up a pole and come down again to signal to the people that it was 1 o'clock and time for lunch. Well, I think that the words service, certainly the word service is rather a dirty word nowadays. People don't expect service in shops, and if you try to give service, it costs you a lot of money. And as we didn't really want to change our policy, which we had rather an old-fashioned image, we decided that we wouldn't stay in the retail trade any longer after 1979, and so we had to pull out, unfortunately.
We think there's a ghost here that we've nicknamed George at the moment. He keeps moving things about. I mean, like the other day, I was standing outside my office. I was fiddling about with something, and all of a sudden, some of these tyres, it just come off like that. It was about 8 tyres high, and it just came off like that, right? And for no reason at all. And it just happens every now and again. The water was turned off once, so I'm the only person that knows where the stopcock is. And I went to use the toilet, and the toilet wouldn't flush. And in the end, I found that the stopcock down in the basement had been turned off. Now, I'm the only one that knows where that is. It makes you wonder, you know. And there's, like, at the top of the building, there's a room up there that you do get an eerie feeling in there. You know, it feels a bit cold.
The upstairs part was mostly residential, and the managers used to live in the upstairs part of the building, and they were sort of, not flats exactly, but apartments where the managers and staff could live. We also had a tailor worked upstairs as well, used to make bespoke suits for gentlemen and even for ladies as well.
Most of the employees worked all their lives, mean it. 50 years service, 45 years service. They even went to the extent of, even in other shops, they lowered the counters so that the employers could get to the...
What else could they do?
If anybody died, they went to the view. Don't worry about that. Terrific.
Boxers ready for your medicals, one at a time.
Just relax and breathe. How much was I charging him? What?
£50. That was £50 for Wednesday, I'm not sure.
What is it? 2 ring sides and a couple of 20. Very good.
You must be growing up taller. I'm getting shorter.
Yeah, no, it's the shoes I've got on, Doc.
Yeah, let's look straight at me.
Right.
Stand on that. 14 stone, 7 3/4.
Jeff Jordan, 14 stone, 7 3/4.
That's right.
Right, Frank.
Hello, Frank. What do you think of that?
16, 2, something like that.
Right. If you can't look, you don't want to go.
Just being accepted. This minute.
16 stone 2.
Frank Bruno, 16 stone 2.
Cooper's left eye. Well, they've worked on it. Tommy Little chasing Cooper's seconds out. Round 4. The bell has sounded, and he's up at about 3, Clay. That was the end of the 4th round, and he hit him about 2 seconds before the end of the round with a left hook. Clay took 1 chance too many, and he still doesn't know where he is. Cooper's left hook finally scores, and Clay was down 2 seconds from the end of the 4th round and got up just after the bell, and he doesn't know where he is.
Henry Cooper is one of the best I've trained for discipline. It don't matter what you say of Henry, he was great to work with, especially in the corner. If he got a cut, it don't matter how bad the cut was, he'd never say, oh, is it bad, or anything like that. He'd just sit there and wait for you to do it, and he'd go, and he just left it to me, you know. And he was very good. As training too, he was disciplined, very good. And he was dedicated. And that is why he lasted so long. The gym, you see, the trouble is with gyms, you know, the best part of them are small, over a pub. And because if you had a one, say you had one twice as big as the gym in here, there wouldn't be no atmosphere. You lose the atmosphere. So you get a nice little compact gym, everybody can train and they're happy and they eat. And that is why you get the Americans come over here. All Americans come over here and train for big fights. Because it's nice and compact. Everybody likes to be not on top of one another, but they like to be close to one another and work, and it makes them work. And by having a small gym, you can shed the weight with the eaters and everything. But if you had a gym twice as big, you wouldn't get the atmosphere.
I used to come here before I was even here. How many years is that, Guy?
About 15.
No, it's more than that.
I've been here 15 now.
Oh, well, blimey, I've been coming here, what?
25 years, same
yeah,
as me.
About that time, 25.
I had it when used to come in here when Rita had it.
That's right, yeah. And then who had it after her?
Una.
Una, that's it. Cause
you?
Yeah, I was in the hospital with Una when she had her baby because I was having another one of mine. Don't know which one it was though.
My shop, by a strange coincidence, was right opposite the fire station that I used to visit for a walk as a child of 5 or 6 years old to see the fire engines coming out, drawn by 2 galloping horses, and somebody on the front was clanging away at the bell for all they were worth.
GLC own the building and it's been disused for about 20 years, I think. 8 people moved into the building and from that we formed a cooperative. We're registered. There are about 20 people that are in the cooperative and they're working throughout the building. They're all painters, sculptors, musicians, filmmakers, well, everything that goes on downstairs is for everyone in the street. We've had lots of comments from the people that live round here, and they like what's going on. They were very suspicious at first, but it's fine.
When I left school at the age of 14, jobs were very, very hard to get at, and I think I was out with my mother one day, and we passed this hardware shop known as Bolden's, and he went in for this job, and he was the old-fashioned gentleman type, actually, Mr. Bolden Senior, and I was with him from 1926 to 1941. Was 41, wasn't it? Yeah, 1941.
No.
He died, didn't he?
No, he died 1939.
Was it?
Mm. Yeah.
1939 then. And his son then took over, and I worked with him up till 1963. Money was very short. I'm talking about
people come
1930 on, really. And people used to get a break by hop picking. Several families would get together and hire a lorry, and they'd come into our shop and they'd buy lino and saucepans, oil stoves, what we called hopping pots, and these people would all club together, buy this stuff and take it down to the hop fields in Kent. Paddock Wood was one of the favourite spots, and they'd earn the money there picking these hops, and that would help to pay for the break, you see. Otherwise they just couldn't get a break.
But they used to look forward to it, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
Picking was quite an
yes,
event.
It started at the beginning of August, I think.
The lorries going down Old Kent Road.
Yes, singing and thoroughly enjoying themselves,
yes, yeah. Tipping it up.
Have a bargain bucket, please, and chips. A small one. Can I have a small bargain bucket and chips, please? Pardon? 6 or 8. A small one, 6. 6. Pardon? Soft roll. A couple of minutes for the chips, okay? Pardon? Thank you. Thanks.
Well, if you come this way, we'll have a look at those early travellers. Here we have 2 mosaics of the Canterbury Pilgrims. Here they are at the Tabard Inn, just ready to set off down Old Kent Road on the first stage of their journey to visit the shrine of St Thomas a Becket at Canterbury. Perhaps some of you remember these mosaics. They were actually made in 1910 and were originally on the outside of the so-called Chaucer Library at the junction of Old Kent Road and New Kent Road, which was demolished for the flyover. Well, anyway, here probably in the centre is Chaucer himself. According to him, the Pilgrim's first stop was just up the road from here, where the Kent Road crossed the stream. The watering of St Thomas, the Thomas a Becket pub, marks the site today. The Pilgrims, as described in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales, were as ordinary a crowd of people as you might meet around the Old Kent Road today.
Hello, Arthur. All right, Danny? You've messed a bit up there, son. Cool.
I'm Danny Knight from Monitors. I first acquired the shop over 12 months ago, 14 months ago, and I was paying the rent here. After 2 or 3 months, I found out I was squatting here because the fellow I was paying the rent to wasn't paying it, you see. So the people who own the land, I went to them, and they said if I paid the back rent, they'd put the lease in my name, which I agreed on. And this was a cab firm next door. This was all one shop originally. You see, the both shops was together. So I paid the money and acquired the lease, and this is how I started it, down the Old Kent Road. And this has all come about in the last 12 months. And now I've opened another shop. And I'd like to open another one next year. I'd like to open a chain of shops, if possible.
What happened to the guy?
He was evicted in the end. He had a minicab firm next door, and he wound up getting evicted because he just didn't pay any rents or any rates. I was looking through magazines, looking for names, you know, like Vogue and names like that, like West End names. And then I quite like an artist, Claude Monet, so I named it after him. Monet, but pronounce it Monet, Monet shoes. Some people call it Monets. And that's how it all come about.
Why shoes?
Well, I looked around Bermondsey and there is no shoe shop in Bermondsey, not one. Even in the High Street, there isn't a shoe shop. Well, there is now, because I've just opened another one down there. Everybody helps each other down this road anyway. You know, I've got personal friends down the road that I socialise with as well as business. And everyone gets along well. It's like a family, really, down there. Go out of one shop into another and go up, have a cup of tea somewhere else.
Well, when I came to Old Kent Road, there was possibly 8 tailor shops, I should imagine, at that time. Although Mr. Beaver tells me, my uncle, that when they started, there was as many as 14 tailor shops in Old Kent Road. But now, 1. We're the only one left. There was a demand for that type of thing then, you see. It's entirely different these days, but you see some of the old photos and pictures in the television, you see everybody was wearing, all men were wearing suits.
People were coming years ago, our uncle used to say, and they'd pick one of these fashions out of the book and...
they'd have that style.
And they have a certain style, as you can see, but these styles of today...
Today they come in and they tell us what they want.
You don't see many of these sort of styles.
Well, we get a lot of shapes and sizes, as you can imagine, of people who can't go and get a suit off the peg because of the fit. And we get some sizes. There's one here.
This is a big guy.
I'll show you. Well, this is the sort of thing we get asked for, you see. You can imagine this fella going and trying to get a ready-made suit.
Like a Cyril Smith.
No way can he go and get one off the peg. But
sometimes you have to join the tapes together, believe it or not, to measure them up. But they seem to be quite happy the time we finished with them. So, I mean, some of our old customers that have moved away. I mean, we have some come up as far as Hastings. I mean, if they work in the city and they've been our customer and they've lived around here and now moved out, 9 out of 10 of them will come back. They all call in to us and have a suit made.
As far as we're concerned, we'd like to stay in Old Kent Road. The property is due to be come down. The co-op's put a bid in for the whole block. They want to build a big superstore here, and obviously we're in the way. But future we see in Old Kent Road. We've been here for 56 years now of business, and obviously our customers know us in Old Kent Road, and that's where we want to stay.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Old Kent Road, I'll buy that.
In 1966, the council made a compulsory purchase of a huge estate, the Rolls estate, which included hundreds and hundreds of private houses. They began to neglect the houses, and people stopped paying their rents because things couldn't get done. If a roof was leaking, it just leaked. Then they knocked down the houses behind our place, hundreds of them. So we lost population. And with loss of population, we lost trade. Our rent went up from £100 a year to £850 a year. And quite frankly, we couldn't stand it.
I'm Mr. Luger. for 374 Road. That shop before was a chemist for years, and I've been here from 1963 up to today, and I don't know how long to be here now. Well, the road it changed quite a lot. First of all, for the shops, most of the shops closed. There's no business about. Only the traffic, only the lorries and all that pass for the Orchard Road now. Opposite me used to be quite nice shops. Now it's all flats. Must be different to me, doesn't it? Well, in the future, like what the GLC say, you want to be making the park. I don't know. I'm still waiting to say what's happened.
£30.
Good boy. Round here. In you go. In. Good boy. Good boy. Now sit down. Sit down. There's a good boy, isn't you? I'm Mick the Fish, and this is my dog Pikey. He's an English Bull Terrier, a very big English Bull Terrier.
How long have you had him?
Had him for 6 years. He's a very good dog, very obedient, a very, very good guard dog. But he's very, very bad with other dogs. But he compensates it with his personality. Come on. Come on, up here. Up. Aren't you? Good boy, aren't you? Good boy.
Nick, what is it you're doing after that?
I run a fishing tackle shop for myself. We originally started out in East Street. We had a shop there 60 years ago. It was a very small shop. My father ran it. And his father, in the back of it, had a shoe repair service. And we was there for about 30 years. We purchased the property, the freehold, and the council compulsory purchased the shop off us. And we had to move into the Old Kent Road, at the base, at the top of the Old Kent Road. Actually, where we're standing now, this is the garden for the Old Kent Road. This is not actually a shop. This was built onto the building. The actual building starts at the base of the shop there. Yes, there's a date above the shop, and the date, if you look on the outside of the building, is 1784, which makes it 201 years old. It's a very, very original old shop. It's very, 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 very old, as you can see. There's a local park around the corner called Burgess Park, which caters for most anglers in this specific area. It's a marvellous area for fishing. It's got better and better over the years. The baits, yeah, I do what they call the boilies, which are carp baits in this freezer here. I do 2 other freshwater baits. One is worms or brandings. They're sold in a carton like this for 80p. You get approximately 40 to 50 worms in here. And these will keep indefinitely, these will. Indefinitely. I also do maggots, or gentles as they're called, in white, coloured and bronze colours. I'll just get some for you, show you. These are sold in a container like this. Well, they should be in a container. Some people ask to put them in bags, but I don't like to put them in bags. They're sold in pints and half pints. 60p a half, 120 a pint. And most people's ambition is to catch a specimen fish. And I wouldn't say everyone, but most people would like to have a fish what they call set up in a case like this here, which costs around about £100. It's personal ego, really, to have over their front room or whatever, you know.
What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Pike at £25.
So,
Well, about 35, 38 inches long. About a girth like that.
what do you do with it?
Put it back. I know most of these shopkeepers round here. Most of them are reasonably new to the area, but they're all basically young fellows like myself. And we got on very, very well together. We help each other out as much as we can. We trade together if we can. We drink together if we can. And we just basically get on very well together. It's a very, very happy community.
entertaining then too. We used to see 2 feature films, and in between the 2 films they used to put turns on the stage where lots of famous names appeared.
Max
names
Miller
that, yes.
Wilson, Capel and Betty. And,
yes, and the Ganju brothers and Juanita, and Billy Cotton and his show band, and Harry Roy, and...
Ted Heath, I think, was there?
No, not Ted Heath, no, definitely not.
Like a West End entrance.
Yeah.
You went through the swing doors, and in the centre was this cashier's desk.
Kiosk where you could buy your sweets and your tobacco.
That's right, yes. From what I remember, there were about 4 steps, and this was all carpeted. You used to go up there and through more swing doors into the cinema.
Yes, big stage they had. Red and gold curtains, I think they were hung there.
You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? You just put your lips together and blow.
Get out, Peter. Get your things out of this house right now before I throw them into the street and you with them. Get out before I kill you.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks in among them.
There's no one left but you.
Come and get me!
Two pies and 2 lots of mashed, 3 times, please.
I'm Mr. Austin. My association with the Old Kent Road is the Bert's Pie Shop. Been here, what, 27 years? It's shortened down lane. My uncle, his name was Albert. They had their first shop in Limehouse, and they just named it Bert's. It's been Bert's ever since.
Thanks, sir.
Well, we did try expanding the business years ago, but nothing ever became of it. And I've always said a pie shop was a pie shop. Nothing else. These are expensive, aren't they? Years ago, when I was a kid, best place in London to be. People were friendly, but now they're not. When most of the old folk, people I've known, I mean, they've all moved out. All moved out to Kent. Some have moved up north. But they still come back to the shop. We open every evening. Tuesdays and Wednesdays we're open from 5 till 8. Thursday and Friday is from 5 till 9. And Saturday we're open all day. Up from about 7 o'clock.
Did you ever open to catch pub girls?
Oh, we used to open years ago, but just like I said, for 3 or 4 weeks we had so much trouble in the shop, fights and what have you. We decided, never to do it anymore. I mean, the damage they do was unbelievable. I don't suppose it's any worse than any other place, really, but, you know, you always think it's one of the worst.
Gentlemanly wine. You know that song. So need to missions I've got to tell you dear. Tom never well lost away.
I'm Ken Scott, and I run I own 3 pubs in the Old Kent Road. It's the Oasis, the Dun Cow and the Green Man. Well, the Dun Cow and the Green Man have been here for 130 years, is the Green Man and the Dun Cow, but the Dun Cow was burnt down about 40 to 50 years ago, and since then it's been rebuilt. Well, they was extremely grossy, of course. I mean, they wouldn't give you pubs unless they was run down and derelict. There was 4, 5, 6 bar pubs, and we decided to make them into 1 bar pubs, and, you know, obviously use as much as we could from the original buildings, you know, to maintain them. But there's a fantastic amount of tiles in the Green Man on the left-hand flank wall there, which is, we wouldn't just disturb or decorate or do anything with them. There's just too nice to sort of do anything with it. When the designer, Neil Barrick, who designs my pubs, we kept the same theme of tiles within the decor, which is Art Nouveau, really.
And why the champagne bar?
And why the champagne bar? Well, people in Bermondsey now are earning so much money they can afford Dom Perignon, you know, and that's what they like in any case. The light and bit has gone out the door a bit, but certainly cocktails and champagne is very, very popular. And, you know, when you've had a dance and a chat with your bird and all that kind of thing, and you want to really buy a nice bottle of Dom Perignon and get your end away, you bring her up here, and then eventually you're going to win, you know. So.
Told you briefly the estate, the address, the number and the purpose of all these company assembled in Suffolk at the Pleasant Inn of the Tabard. I pray all of you who hear or read this little treatise that if there is anything in it that pleases you, thank our Lord Jesus Christ, from whom proceed all wit and goodness. And if there is anything that displeases you, I pray you set it down to the fault of my ignorance and not my will. That would have said things better, had I been wiser. So I beseech you humbly to pray to God to grant me grace and forgive my sins. May Christ have mercy upon my soul. Quicam Patre et Spiritus Sancto, vivis et regnus Deus, per omnia secula. Amen.